What's up, guys? For those of you who are longtime viewers of the channel, you know that I absolutely love G-Shock watches. G-Shock was the company that really got me into watch collecting, and for today's video I just want to talk about the three, or basically my top three G-Shock watches. I'm not saying that these are the best because that's really a subjective opinion, but for me, my personal three, these are the ones. These watches are in no particular order, just how they are sitting in the watch case, but starting off with the GW2310, and right next to that we've got the GR8900, and right next to that we've got the MTG M900. So let's start off with the GW2310. Now earlier when I said that G-Shock started it all, what I really meant was the G-Shock 2310 started it all. I bought this watch because a coworker of mine had it, and every time we would interact with each other, I'd always notice it on his wrist, and it always caught my attention. So at first I ended up getting this all black version, just so that way I wasn't completely copying my coworker's style. But this one was just too black and I needed some color variation. I do think it looks very cool, but I ended up getting this one because number one, it's much easier to see, but it's also got that variation in color that gives it a more dynamic style. However, I think the polished bezel and that polished light button, it looked too much like a toy for me. So I just gave in and ended up getting the same one my coworker had, and you know, for me this one is the best out of all the three that I have. That's just a subjective opinion. I think it's fantastic that there are so many different styles of the 2310, and there are special edition versions also that are very cool, and I encourage you to check them out because price is only getting higher on those, so get them while they are still reasonably priced. Here it is on my wrist. I would like to see modern upgrades to the 2310, and I hope that G-Shock doesn't give up on this model entirely. For example, I think it looked cool with the dual clasp system, and who knows, maybe all metal version. Of course, for me personally, I could go for all metal versions of every single G-Shock watch in existence. So again, just my opinion, but there it is, very cool and very practical. Next, let's take a look at the GR8900. So this is what I would consider a very pleasant surprise, because the only reason why I got this watch is because I'm a G-Shock collector, not because I legitimately wanted this one. Because, you know, you look at the pictures and you can only tell so much from a picture, but from what I saw, it looked kind of very plain Jane, nothing exciting here. But once I got it in hand and on wrist, it was love at first wrist check. You've got that big, beautiful display where the numbers aren't too large, but they're not small. It's very clear and very legible. Also, you've got that fantastic 10-second animation. And again, it's not a big deal, but it gives the main dial such a fun, technical, futuristic look to it. And then this metal bezel here ties it all together very well. Another thing is you've got multiple colors here on the display. You've got the slightly red or maroon color on the animation, and then a light blue there on calendar data. Again, just some variation that gives it a very dynamic look and a very fun watch to look at. And just like with the 2310, I loved the 8900 so much that I not only got one, and not two, but three. And it's not going to stop there. There's plenty of other different colorations and styles that are out there on the market. So once I get back into G-Shock collecting, you know, I'm going to go ahead and find those as well. But what I really like about it is the body style or the case shape. It's very robust and it looks super cool, but also it allows for that large, beautiful screen for very easy legibility. here is the 8900 on my wrist. Fantastic watch. I could wear this watch all day long, all week long, no problems, and would have an absolute blast doing so. And last but not least, here's the MTG M900. This is one of those watches where I have to constantly remind myself that I own one and that I don't need to buy another one. What I mean by that is every time I see one out in the market or at the store or online, I always want to buy it again, and that's how much I love the M900. Just like with the 8900, this one's got that beautiful open display, so it's very easy to read the numbers, and it's digital mixed with the metal, and for me that's a match made in heaven. And the thing that I really like about it is that it's got a bracelet, so it's maybe for a more professional setting, but it's one that doesn't take itself too seriously. I think this would look just as good in the office as it would on a soccer field or in a swimming pool, and very versatile, very useful. Really, again, there's a reason why this is in my top 3 in my entire G-Shock collection. And here's the M900 on the wrist. It's always a joy to wear this one. For me, I've got way too many watches to be considered a responsible adult, but whenever in doubt, when I'm not sure which watch to wear, I can always rely on Old Faithful and I won't be disappointed. So what do all 3 of these watches have in common? They are all solar powered. I will say that only the 2310 and the M900 have the atomic timekeeping, but for me that's not a big deal. With or without atomic timekeeping, they're all reliable enough for everyday use. Another thing that these watches all share in common is that they are wonderfully affordable. They pretty much all average around that $100 price range, and that might be a little bit expensive for some, but for the most of us, for the majority, that's more than reasonable and very easily attainable. With that affordability comes quality as well. So if you're on a budget, you can rest assured that you can get a very reliable and great quality watch without having to break the bank. And for those collectors, for those of you just starting off, it's so fun to be able to purchase a new watch every paycheck, also without having to break the bank. So that's all I gotta say. For me, G-Shocks will always be my first love. How about you? What was your very first G-Shock? Or what was your very first watch? What was the watch that got you into collecting? Let me know. So that's all I gotta say for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to tune into my next episode, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.